Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I am Auphanim. Today I watched a video that was posted on the Stellar Foundation's YouTube channel, and it was very interesting. I had not gotten an opportunity to watch it the first time that they posted it or when they originally posted it, and I'm glad that I did. They covered a lot of interesting things, a bevy of topics, and they were all very, very crucial to where CBDCs are going in the future, and possibly there are implications, heavy implications of the role that Stellar will play in all of these very high-level institutions utilizing CBDC infrastructure and CBDCs, okay? They had some very powerful people on that panel you definitely want to give a listen to. They had a representative from the Atlantic Council. They had a representative from the Alliance for Financial Inclusion. They also had a representative from the Hong Kong Center of the for the Bank of International Settlements. Okay, so these are very powerful people that have a lot of influence, and they have and they are helping to decide in which way these bank coins like XLM, XRP are going to be utilized, and how these foundations like Stellar Foundation, Ripple, Algorand Foundation are going about instituting infrastructure for these financial institutions. All right, so the first thing I took note of is that they wanted to focus on interoperability. Okay, I think what they were saying is in some of the earlier designs for CBDCs that did not utilize decentralized ledger technology, DLT technology, that there were interoperability issues, which is causing and has caused most of the banks to shift over to using and building infrastructures and CBDCs on distributed ledger technologies, which of course is very good for us because the banking coins, there are no better fiat currency rails and bridge currencies than the banking coins XLM, XRP, Algo, HBAR, and Cello, in my humble opinion. Okay, so this is very, very good. So also, they were highlighting in the beginning of that video that they would like to have more competition in the wallets area. Now, this is something that's interesting, but I had seen it in other areas. Like I said, the high cost that some of these intermediaries are trying to thrust upon the utilization of the bank coins, which obviously is very low priced. So some of the intermediaries what they want to do is, since it's low priced, they'll throw a fee, a very hefty fee on top of that, and they're collecting all of the money, right? You understand what I'm saying? So that obviously is going to be very bad, because what it does is it makes the new system seem too akin to the old system, like as if we in the blockchain community built the old system, which that is certainly not the case. We have to be careful of some of these intermediaries who are trying to conscript the bank coin rails and some of the blockchains and such like that, presenting themselves at the forefront of it because it's still early, and then they're issuing wallets where the wallets have these high fees attached to them. Now, I was on a website recently for one of the bank coins, for one of the companies utilizing the bank coins. Let me make that clear. They are not affiliated with any of the foundations or companies at all. This is just a company who built on top of one of the bank coins, okay? But as I was investigating, and I said this in another video, as I was investigating this particular website, I'm going down to see how much it costs to send these bank coins back and forth across the world, and there was a hefty fee attached to it, and I was flabbergasted. Now, I guess I'm not the only one who sees that type of thing, that type of activity happening, but the Stellar has definitely seen it. Atlantic Council has definitely seen it. Alliance for Financial Inclusion has seen it. And the Bank of International Settlements, Hong Kong Center, definitely took note of that. And they are saying they are trying to remedy these types of things, and also keep that from happening. And then to sort of round out that portion of the discussion, Denell Dixon definitely said they do not in any way whatsoever have any intention of building a system that is anything like the old system. They do not want that. We want a system that is low cost. I believe the individual from the Atlantic Council definitely spoke on this, but you guys can watch the video and then you can get more clarity on that. But I believe he was the one who was saying that you definitely want to keep the cost down low. And this lends towards lends to the helping with the issue of financial inclusion, which was also highlighted. They covered a great amount of things here, and it was great to see that Denell Dixon of Stellar was leading this conversation, okay? As I said, I think Stellar is doing a lot of wonderful things behind the scenes. You see the company that they keep. That's a great indicator. You see the ties that they have with the United States government, and now you're seeing all of these different banks, them having these great relationships with all of these different powerful institutions and banks. As you see, they have a great relationship with the Bank of International Settlements, as they are hosting a panel with one of their members on there currently. That is a great indicator, okay? So yeah, so I had this little dash here. It says more competition and wallets focused, and there was another dash underneath it. I have a lot of notes, everyone. It says they were concerned about substantial fees on wallets for some of the bank systems. So some of the banks were seeing this as well. So it's going to be important who they're using as intermediaries, right? Or molders of how these bank coins are going to operate. That's really what the intermediaries are when it comes to the bank coins, sort of like what Bit does with Stellar and what Stellar were doing in the Ukraine, how Bit kind of molds XLM to be used in a particular way. So those are sort of what the intermediaries are going to be doing. But it's also going to, I believe, don't quote me on this, but I believe it's going to fall on them to keep those fees down when they design the wallets. I'm quite sure. Just give you an example. If you look at how Ripple issued the digital wallets, or is building or issuing currently the digital wallets for Palau, I'm pretty sure they have extremely low fees, which does what? It incentivizes everybody to want to use them more. Now, on this very same panel, there was an individual there. I believe this individual was from the Alliance for Financial Inclusion. Like I said, you can watch the video and gain more clarity on this. And they were saying how they tried to send some money just to test. They tried to send some money across the world from one of these bank wallets that they were testing, and it had very high fees, and this individual even gave this specific number. It was about $80 worth of fees. That is absolutely unacceptable. And so, of course, now with the shift over to distributed ledger technology and the reworking of how they're going to be putting everything together with their intermediaries and how they're going to be setting things up with infrastructure, they were saying to remedy that, that is one of their focuses, to bring those prices down significantly so that, once again, it will help with financial inclusion, because they want that, and so that everyone will be able to use these particular wallets, okay? And also that has a lot to do with interoperability as well. Interoperability with currencies flowing one into another, from one wallet to another, from one institution to another seamlessly, is going to lower those prices, I believe, okay? So let's continue on here. So then they were talking about speed was a focus. Now, isn't that interesting that they said that speed was a focus? And I believe this was from the individual from Alliance for Financial Inclusion, stated that speed was one of their focus along with reduced cost. Okay. Isn't it interesting? Now I don't know about speed, but I'm sort of in my mind pairing the Starlight Protocol with that, right? Because I mean, to do so many transactions, the Starlight Protocol is talking about 1 million transactions between two parties, and we know it's not going to end there. They were just showing us what they had to start with. Okay, so that's definitely going to expand. That's not where they end. That's just where they're beginning. But with that many transactions per second, I consider that speed. Right? I know some people consider speed like going from 3 seconds finality down to like 1 second finality, something like that. But also there's different types of speed. But 1 million transactions per per second or something? 1 million transactions per second between two parties, or every 3 seconds. I don't remember what it was specifically. You guys can remind me about the Starlight Protocol. It was something mind-blowing that I do know. But what I'm trying to get to is, isn't it interesting how they highlighted that in this particular panel, and it's coming from the Alliance for Financial Inclusion, and yet in the beginning of January, Stellar drops the Starlight Protocol. I don't think these are coincidences, everyone. I definitely don't. I think that Stellar has been working with these individuals, and we're seeing signs of what they required of Stellar, and Stellar meeting those requirements. I think that's exactly what we're seeing here. And this is very, very good, and I think it really lends a lot of support to my argument that Stellar is trying to land the big fishes. They're doing it quietly. Another thing that Danelle Dixon highlighted in this, and I may have to make 2 videos, guys, so we may have to come back tomorrow and complete this. I have like 7 pages of notes, and I don't think we're going to get through this. I don't have a lot of time right now. So I may have to come back tomorrow. But Danelle Dixon highlighted, someone asked what the banks asked Danelle when they first encounter her, or something like that, of that nature. And she said when the banks first come to her, and keep in mind, you can listen to this in that video, she said banks multiple, right? So Stellar Foundation itself, outside of IBM, outside of LightNet, Stellar Foundation itself is dealing with multitude of banks directly. That's exactly what she just told you. She said when banks, which is plural, come to her, the first thing they ask is who owns Stellar, right? Who owns XLM? And she has to explain to them, nobody uses XLM, which, okay, she then kind of stops there and then moves on to something else. But once she tells them no one owns Stellar, you have to understand that that's delicious, because they understand that they will have control over that particular system outright. Now, another individual on the panel then goes on to highlight how they want control over the systems. You know, they want to be able to have say-so over how it's utilized. And that just makes sense as a large business institution and as a bank. Of course, I would want the same thing. But pairing that with the fact that Danelle's explaining to them nobody owns XLM, that is amazing, okay? And you have to understand, I believe that those banks will find that absolutely delicious. And there is a reason why, now that she used banks in plural, saying that they come to her, okay, that they would come to the Stellar Foundation. That is a great thing to hear. Once again, this is why I'm being very patient with Stellar. They're working on some major things, and I'm hoping to hear some very, very good stuff, but I'm being very patient with them because they are trying to land these big fishes. If you saw that panel, you understand they're making great strides. They have a great amount of respect that they have curried in the industry, and that's going to bring great partnerships, all right? And with great partnerships, that brings big money, all right? So everything is looking very good. I have so many more notes, but I'm going to have to come back tomorrow. I hope everybody will tune in tomorrow. We will have a regular video for you, hopefully tomorrow, and we definitely will try to go deep. As I said before, this week I want to really go deep with the information. I'm going to cut loose when it comes to the information. We're going to go deep this week. At least that's my hope. And I'm going to give you that Auphanim, that old school Auphanim, where we really uncover some things and go a little bit deeper. So that's my expectation for this week, and that's the goal for this week, okay? So I will see you all next time. Now that you have that information, what are you going to do with it? I know what I'm going to do with it. So until next time, let's get to the money.